Hello, my friends. Well, here we are on election day, the day that has been bringing up so much anxiety and division for a long time. And here we are. So, depending on, of course, who is going to win, people are going to be upset no matter what. One side is going to be upset with the other, and vice versa. And the division continues. That division nobody can change except you and I. None of us want division. Well, most of us, there might be a few who do at the top, who knows? But most of us don't. So, who do you think is going to stop your inner division, your inner taking sides, your inner feeling righteous about what you see, and that the other one is wrong when they see it from another angle? I think this is a very, very important time where we vote for something much deeper than some outer authority who is gonna who's gonna rule and who's gonna tell us what we can and cannot do, as if we are these stupid kids who don't have the ability to know what is true. Now, I will also admit that there are a lot of people in our world who do not know that they have the ability to know what's true because they have given away their power or their authority to something outside of themselves. And these are probably most of the people who believe that this person or that person is going to make a difference. Now, how many eons has this been going on? And how has it changed? Has anything changed? Is there more peace on the planet? Is there more peace in you? Is there more peace in me? Nobody can make that happen. Of course, when the circumstances are more peaceful around us, if our needs are met more, then it is easier to connect with that inside. I totally agree with that. But we should still not give away our power and believe that one person or the other is going to create peace in us, because the lack of peace that each of us experiences inside is simply a buildup from a lifetime, maybe many lifetimes, if you believe in that, where it's just been building the whole part of the duality, division, war, conflict, polarity. That is something that we have been growing up in. We were born into it, we've grown up in it. And lately, we have been programmed even more so because it's always been a program. The truth, the reality of who we are, the reality of divinity is not conflict. It's impossible. And you'll know that when you go inside and connect with who you truly are, you will notice that there is no division. There is no battle. There is no finger pointing. There's just a sense of presence and peace. And as I've shared on a few of my meditations, when we go in there and let that spread out, we actually touch everything, everything that is coming in the vicinity or in the aura or the presence of this presence is impacted by it. But we all have to start inside. And this is the time to do it. There might be a lot of conflict coming up because people are so divided, and then they're going to be upset with the opposing party, whoever won, and there's going to probably be a lot of battling and unhappiness, to say it mildly. But let's choose not to engage with that. I've talked about timelines. So that might be one timeline that a lot of people are choosing to go on to, where they can continue the battle. So that's just going to be their experience. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. If people want to battle, if they want to be, in duality and in division and in opposition with each other, that is a choice that we can take. Personally, I'm not choosing it because I don't have any interest in it. I do not have any interest in battling and arguing with people who want to be right. It just doesn't do anything for me. What does something for me is connecting with people who may have a very different view, but there has to be an openness to hear each other. You see, the duality is always going to be here in this dimension. Right, wrong, up, down, light, dark, whatever. But we have the choice to not go in there and battle with it and making the other wrong. That's the only place the problem is, from my point of view at this moment. It might change tomorrow, of course, because I keep seeing more and more. So it's us, it's the programming in us that is putting a label on it, a judgment, something negative on it about the opposite of what we believe. That is the problem. And we can stop that, because when you see that you're doing it, then you have the opportunity or the choice to say, oh, wow, look at me, I don't want to do that anymore. And then you can start practicing not engaging every time when that, the drive to engage in battle and in opposition, then you can just say, oh, that's right, I don't want to do that anymore. And then you just drop it right there like a hot potato. Boop, not interested. What you can do instead, which is a good idea, is to go inside and maybe feel the hot potato and just get curious about it. Listen to it. That's where the self-love part comes in. And you can listen to one of all my videos on self-love. I have a lot of them. And then you can start softening or cooling that hot potato so that it doesn't want to go out there and do something. So that's one thing, right? You can go on that timeline, you can get on that train and just enjoy that. You can also choose, I don't want to get on that train anymore. And then you need to be present with a lot of parts in yourself that are still so conditioned and so programmed to do that. So then that's the work we all have to do. And then there's the other train or other parallel universe or timeline. And there are many. There's probably endless, but they're all here. We can tune into them. I heard somebody use the example of, it's like there's all these radio stations and they're all here, and it depends on which one we tune into. So that's why we can also start tuning into what we really want. That's the longing I talk a lot about. Like, I want peace. I want connection. I want to understand each other more. Whatever it is, it's something that's very different than this duality and this battling. So I want to live in harmony with myself and with my fellow human beings. So that's a different timeline that is already here. It's all available. It's like you get to the train station, there's all these trains. One is battle, one is peace, one is this, one is that. One might be, peace and battle. I still want a little bit of both. They're all here. And it's really up to us to choose which train or which timeline we want to get on. So if you're like me, you may want to get on the one where we're done with that polarity, with the programming. Now there's a movement towards more peace. And then we start moving in that direction. Now, we still have all this old conditioning in it, right? So even though we choose to get on that one, we still have to come back here and meet all the parts that are still conditioned to go on the battle train. When we choose to get on this train of peace or this timeline of peace, and when we all have the same intention, it's really, really nice to get together with some of those people. That's why I have my once a month gathering. We just had one today. Very, very lovely, very beautiful, deep sharing from the heart. And my invitation is that we can start feeling comfortable with who we are. We may want the peace, but there might still be parts of us that are in battle inside. We don't need to hide those parts of ourselves because then we're battling our battle. It's just more battle. But when you're in a group, let's say we get on this timeline here and everybody wants more peace, more connection, then we choose that and then we can find out, well, how are we going to do this? And there might be many ways, just like there's all these timelines and these trains on this train station. There might be many, many ways of doing that. I know the one that seems alive for me right now, and that is that we kind of have an agreement that we practice being really true and transparent about our own experience and realize that this is my experience. If I don't like what you say or do, if that triggers me, it's my trigger. It doesn't mean that you have to stop. But I can say, this is really hard for me to be around. So I need to remove myself right now. I would love to communicate with you, but the way that it's happening, you're going about it, that doesn't resonate for me. So I need to pull back. So you're not making the other person wrong. You're making yourself, you honor your own experience and what your needs are. Now, that's very loving to yourself. That's a very good thing to learn. So if many of us go on this timeline where we want to practice being more peaceful, more in harmony with each other, then we can come up with some ways, some guidelines that we need to learn to adhere to. So it's not like just because we choose this timeline now that everything is going to be hunky-dory. Just like if people choose this party or that party and whoever wins, everything is going to be hunky-dory. It's absolutely not. Because if we want to go with one of these two parties and what they're saying, we need to fully live that inside of ourselves, right? If somebody says we're going to stop the war, no more war, and we want that, well, it's not going to happen if you keep being at war with yourself or your neighbor. Your neighbor may be at war with you, but you choose to not engage with that. But stop the war inside here first, then things will really change a lot already. And then we can start kind of moving towards a peaceful world. It has to come from within. So I find it really important today. It's almost like we're at a springboard or we are at a new precipice or something where now we need to leap into the new. The old is gone. It's funny. It's kind of how I see it right now. It's almost like we came to the end of this old era, and now we need to choose how we want to do it differently for those of us who want to get on a different timeline. For those who want to stay on the same timeline, they may not even realize that there is anything that's different. But it's because these frequencies or these radio stations, it's a really great metaphor. It's like they're here and we're beginning to tune into them. We're beginning to sense them. It's like, oh, there's another way. So then we start tuning into that more. But these people here, they may not be aware of that. They might be too programmed or who knows what, in whatever, whatever part of life or area of life. But if you're one who starts tuning into something like, oh, more peace, then we have to be responsible and become that. There will never, ever, ever be peace in this dimension as long as we are programmed to battle and division inside and out, and thinking that this person or that person is going to make that change. They may change some things, but the real permanent change is for you and for me. It's a big, big choice we have to make. It's not easy if you are really so programmed or conditioned to battle, to be right, to make others wrong, to think you know the answer. There's a lot of people, they talk as if they know exactly what needs to happen. But the way they're talking, it's coming from battle energy. It's just not going to work. It's like we have to learn to let go of this dualistic world, the matrix, and then find out what else is here that we can start tuning into and start living. So I want to again just let you know that if you feel you need help with this shift inside, I can't help you shift in the world. I can help you shift inside and how to find more peace in your heart, in your body, in your nervous system, in your expression. There's many ways of doing it. I have my preferred ways that seem to work pretty good. There's no perfection in anything. I'm not pretending that I know the answer to anything, everything, but I know what works a lot of the time for most people, including myself. If there's other things we need to do, then we can, look for that, reach out, or it's going to come to you. So if you need help, please reach out. My website is in the description below, and you're free to reach out and set up a time for a 20 or 30-minute discovery session with me. And what we'll do there is just find out, would it be helpful for me to support you on your journey? Does what I offer resonate with you? Because when there's resonance, then things can start moving. Then things will change. If there's no resonance, you're in duality and it's not going to work. So it all comes down to really learning to listen and honoring what's true for you. And if you indeed want to live in a world where there's peace, where there's more peace, we should start with, then start finding a way to create more peace in your side, in yourself, and then let that spread. It's like it spread into your aura. It spreads into your expression and it goes out. And it's because this is the frequency that you truly are already. And now you're beginning to align with it. It's like you drop down like a little pebble, boom, and then the ripples start coming out. And that impacts the whole world. We may not always know what happens, but the energy knows, and the energy will go and harmonize in whatever way it knows how. So that's my invitation. Let's take this leap together with the intention in our heart to let this lead us. Let this inform us and inspire us. And then don't engage for the rest with your emotions. I always have to say that. It's not like we still have the world, but choose to not engage from that emotional attachment, sticky place, because then you're just still stuck and you're on that timeline of battle. So I hope that inspires you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.